Netcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is Twit.
Bandwidth for iPad today is provided by CacheFly at CacheFly.com.
Coming up, accessibility apps. There are a ton of them. We'll do our best to talk about a very good few.
Plus, Ardio's app is lovely. And Amazon says, screw you, Apple.
All that and sculpting fantasy animals.
Oh, dear.
No, I'm serious. On iPad today.
iPad Today is brought to you by Go to My PC. Stay connected with Go to My PC, the missing link that turns your iPad into your computer. Download the free app and visit gotomypc.com for your free 30-day trial. Promo code iPad. And by Audible.com. To download the free audiobook of your choice, visit audiblepodcast.com/iPad Today. And by Gazelle, the easy way to sell or recycle the used gadgets lying around your home or office. Don't just sell it, Gazelle it. For a 5% bonus payment for your used gadgets, go to gazelle.com. Use the offer code TWIT. I'm sculpting fantasy animals.
Listen.
I
it's
am.
a really cool...
Whoa!
Hey! That man's...
The finger of God. Did you ever play a game called Populous? There was also a version called Black and White, and it was just like that hand.
Yeah.
And you would go down and you would touch your people. It's kind of like Godfinger on the iPad. You touch your people.
You touch your people?
Go ahead, do that again, Chad. I like that. Welcome to iPad Today. I'm Leo Laporte.
I'm Sarah Lane. Thanks for
hello.
joining us, everybody. It's good to see you.
Yeah, good to see you.
Well, it's good to see you.
Yeah,
You wore purple today.
I did, because we were so purple last week. I thought, well, at least if I wear a purple shirt.
Exactly. We definitely got a few notes from some of you saying the lighting is a little bit weird on the living room set. You guys have sort of this lilac sheen.
Yeah.
So we're working with it. Hopefully today it's going to be better.
This is the field trial.
It's true.
Please understand, not of iPad Today, but of the entire new studio.
Right.
And we understand there's little issues here and there, and I think we're getting better every week, and I appreciate your patience.
You know, we did do that. It's immediately noticeable. Is somebody had said, "You guys are really far apart, and you got this monitor between you, and what's the deal?"
That was
We've
me.
actually moved our chairs a little bit closer together.
Glad you read my email.
Yeah.
Hi. How are you?
Get those two hoes back together. My name is.
Lonnie.
I was gonna. You have two L's, so
No.
it doesn't really work. P.O.
Rio Report. No, I think this is good. I really like
It's
how
better.
it looks, and we appreciate your feedback. Please do continue to send us nasty emails. We like those.
Yeah, we read them. We try to
mock you,
glean a
actually.
little bit of constructive criticism out of some of the nastiest emails, because that's the sort of people that we are.
We get together each day after the show and mock you.
Right.
Here comes Tom Merritt. He's
Get a
gonna
load
mock.
of this
He's
guy.
going to help us mock.
Oh, Tom. Just let's move on. So a few weeks ago, when we were still back in the cottage.
Yes.
We had read an email from somebody, and it wasn't the first time we had mentioned it, but somebody who had explained a particular situation where people were getting, I don't know if swindled is the right word, but there was some confusion about a giveaway of iPads for autistic children.
No, wasn't that awful? Yeah.
Awful, yeah. And I actually went and looked at some of the blog posts. I'm not exactly sure how that all panned out. In any case, it was very unfortunate for parents who had donated money thinking that their kids were going to get iPads. And the whole reason that they wanted them so badly is obviously iPads can be expensive. Software for autistic kids and adults can be very expensive.
Right.
Apps even, I mean, hundreds of dollars,
Yeah.
even if they're very useful.
This is true across the board. All assistive computing apps are often very expensive. But the good news is there's often support from agencies or governments. Your local government might help you out. So sometimes, and I think people know this, you go to the Independent Living Resource Center or somewhere like that,
Right.
and they can often help you with this. The good news is there's great stuff out there.
There is great stuff. And it's funny because we had talked about special needs apps, and a fellow named Chris had written in and said, listen, special needs obviously doesn't just include autism. I mean, people who are legally blind or completely blind, for example, would maybe use the voiceover setting, which is something that most people don't even know exists. If you go into your general settings, general, and then you've got this area here called accessibility. I never even clicked on that before. I actually had no idea it was there. But if you click on it, then you have voiceover and Zoom settings. Zoom actually just helps people zoom into, like, for example, this page. You
Right.
can't actually zoom because it just doesn't work that way.
Turn it
So
on.
So you can actually have the ability to do that. And voiceover, it'll actually screw things up for me if I turn it on. But what it does is
great things. So,
it reads things to you.
Apple
you want a
did
web page read to you?
Apple
then-
did a great job in accessibility on the iPad. I have a number of listeners on the radio show who are blind, all of whom tell me they really like both the iPhone and the iPad for
Right.
accessibility. Apple's really paid attention to this.
VoiceOver and Zoom are both native to iOS. So iPad, iPod Touch, iPhone, they're all in there. It's funny, Chris had also said, I don't like the term special needs. I think you should call it accessibility because
Right.
there's something about special needs that just, he doesn't like it. And I'm not sure if that's a sentiment that a lot of people share.
Special unfortunately, has turned into kind of a negative word. Oh, you're so special.
Right.
And so I understand that.
It's almost like a derogatory.
Yeah, it's a
type
little
of thing.
derogatory. Assistive technology, adaptive technology, both are commonly used. Accessibility is very commonly used. In fact, I think accessibility is really the best way to describe this because, I have a friend who's an accessibility expert at Microsoft. They hired her a year ago to go cross all the departments to make sure that all of Microsoft's products were accessible. And I think that's the right word for it. It's accessible because it means anybody, whether they're blind or maybe some people are using a puffer or a stick to type, can do that. One of the things she told me is that a lot of the technologies we see on mobile devices today came from, it goes both ways, came from assistive technologies on computers. Things like that pop-up keyboard. Those were originally developed to make computers accessible. So I think it's the best way to describe it is accessibility. It's the idea of making this stuff accessible to everybody, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Now, there's some great software for people out there, and we're going to review that today, right?
Well, okay, so the Proloquo to go, is that something that you have mentioned in the past? Because
I have, exactly, yes.
Patrick Black, who's actually a special education teacher at Fairview Elementary in Mount Prospect, Illinois, had said, this is one of my absolute go-tos, and I think that Leo has mentioned it.
I had several times because I know somebody who uses it.
Now, the reason that I didn't buy it in order for us to demo is that it's $189.99, which most people would say, when I first pulled this up on my iPad, because I just typed it in and figured, okay, let's see, I'll just go through search. I went, oh my gosh, this must be a typo. And then I realized as I did a little bit more research, no, a lot of these apps
Very common.
are pretty expensive. And I think that people aren't buying them because they think, what, I'll just buy the 99-cent app. But if you're going to make an investment in something that's really going to be helping development.
Well, I'll give you an example. I mean, the kid who uses Proloquo or the adult who uses Proloquo, that's probably the main reason they're using the iPad. They're not doing a lot of other things. The iPad becomes, for them, a communications tool.
Right.
You've seen Stephen Hawking use his computer, and instead of typing the words he wants to say, he can tap icons. That's basically what Proloquo does.
Exactly.
So for people who have difficulty speaking, as I do apparently today, you can tap these big buttons and you can communicate. And the kid I know who uses Proloquo, this was a revolution for him and his family. He could finally communicate to them. This stuff really works. It's expensive, $189. It's less expensive than the dedicated Proloquo device, though, and
very much. And this is by Assistiveware, and they do not just Proloquo, but a variety of apps that are geared very much towards the special needs, accessibility app market and software market as well. So Patrick was not the only person who recommended this to us. So if it's something that you haven't heard of, definitely worth looking into. It seems to be sort of the standard for a lot of people, so there's a good chance that anybody who's already familiar with this category would know about it. But
it's a
worth
good
talking
example,
about.
though, yeah. And Patrick's site, by the way, if you wanted to visit it, is teachingall.blogspot.com. See, I like that. See, accessible, open, teaching
That's right.
all. I like that.
Yeah, Patrick's awesome. He sent us a really nice note, and he gave us a lot of people, by the way. We're not going to be able to get to all of the emails that we received, but we received so many good emails from you, and I'm going to do my best to add most of that stuff to our show notes, which will be up within the next couple of days because we just don't have time to talk about it. But I don't want to hold on to this information and not make it public. But Patrick had given us quite a few suggestions, and then he linked to his own site, and I spent some time looking around, and it's like he's really, really dedicated to this.
He cares. Yeah.
He really cares, and he's writing about this stuff regularly. He's also part of a different education website that he links to in his about page. So definitely check him out at teachingall.blogspot.com. You gotta love teachers who clearly care and spend a lot of their free time trying to get the word out about this sort of stuff.
It's really great.
It is.
Now, not everything is expensive.
That's right.
This one is very affordable.
So
We bought this one. Look, tell money. Did you buy that one?
Oh, I killed that.
Did you? Oh, it's in
Yeah.
mine. Oh, well, never mind.
That's okay. You know what? It's because you're using the iPad app, so you don't realize what I'm killing when we're live.
You're killing as we're going?
That's what people are like. Why does Sarah need her stupid laptop?
She's
This is a
killing
show about
stories
iPad.
in the show.
It's because I'm killing stories. It's not because I don't think that they're good. It's just because, interest of time type of a thing.
Okay, well, forget that I haven't mentioned
I
this.
will.
Although it's kind of cool. You take a picture of money and it tells you what it is.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, that's all.
That's what it was. That's what it was.
That's cool. Look at that. I mean, you take a picture of the money and it says, you are looking at a $20 bill. You are looking at a $2 bill.
Yeah.
You are looking at a counterfeit $3 bill. It's great.
The reason that since we're now talking about the app, we'll talk about it
Too
a little
late.
bit more. The reason that this app is
Oh, well,
now
sorry.
perfect for iPad today is because you need a camera. And the iPad camera is not the best, but it's enough.
It does enough.
Unless you're in a very dark closet, which probably you won't be trying to identify money in. Let's hope not anyway. It works pretty well. So, okay, so we're going to move on.
I apologize. I will take that. I'm taking it out right now.
We're going to move on to Kathleen Rinks, who's at Caton, Oregon, who's the first person actually who kind of got us onto this special needs theme. She sent us a really cool video. It's a YouTube account called Autism Epicenter. And this particular video shows a father recording his son. Chad, you want to roll that YouTube video? I actually gave you the link so it jumps to a
How many
certain point.
pyramids can you count?
Okay, count them all. I want to see it.
1, 2.
These are the words that he
Right.
added to his video. We didn't add them.
3,
So the idea is it's not just learning to count.
4,
It's saying what you're hearing,
Right.
because a lot of
5.
autistic children have issues with that.
You know,
It's not that
computers.
they don't know counting. They're not.
6,
Computers have been used for years for
8.
kids of all abilities, but what's interesting is the iPad is such an intimate device. I think it's even better for this kind of stuff. That counting, that learning, because it's right there. It's in his lap. He's touching it.
I know.
And I think when you see kids with an iPad, you realize how unintimidating and accessible this is for all kinds of kids. I think this is just great.
It's really. It's really adorable, and I mean the kids are into it. They love it.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know, and they're looking back at the parent and I did this right, and you touch something, and there's sort of this immediacy to it.
Exactly.
On YouTube, just a side note, talk about tugging at your heartstrings. There are a lot of videos like this, not just from this account. I mean, if you search autism or autistic on YouTube, there are a lot of videos of really proud people, not just parents, but teachers and brothers and sisters going, look at how much he has never, or she has
Right.
never been this engaged as she is with this.
It's one reason you see a lot of autistic kids with this, or Asperger's kids with this, is because frequently one of the conditions that comes along with that is kind of a difficulty relating to people and a difficulty with strangers and stuff.
Right.
And they often can do very well with machines, with computers, and so the iPad is just a great tool for them. I mean, they're comfortable with it. It doesn't challenge them. They can take their time. They can move at their own pace. I kind of wish that we'd had these when I was in school, because I really think these are great teaching devices in general.
I do too. I think especially for littler kids to be touching on words and seeing the word the, and you hear it
Yeah,
and you can
it's
say
direct.
it back. It's like that. For certain ages, these apps would be great. I mean, they're not just necessarily special needs apps. He's writing.
cool?
He's left-handed, so I like him already.
Smart kid.
Yeah, exactly. He's going places.
My wife's sister is a speech pathologist, works
Really?
with special needs kids, and she has a very expensive laptop program she's been using. This next pick is a great replacement. Does very much the same thing.
It does.
Lots less expensive. And
Cindy
I
Shepard sent
love
this
this.
in to us. She is a pathologist, speech language pathologist, and she works in elementary school. And she says, I use a lot of apps, and the one that I probably use the most is something called Arctic Pix. I also use my iPad to keep track of my schedule and my evaluations, data from treatment sessions, which is very important. So she uses it not just for her kids, but for herself. I'm looking forward to documenting kid progress via pre and post videos of my kids this school year. Keep up the good work. Your podcast is very important. Thank you so much, Cindy. Arctic Pix. So I went ahead and downloaded this because it's actually not expensive. I think it's $1.99. Or actually, this is the free version. There's also a paid for version that just has a lot more flashcards. It's just kind of like a bigger database for, I think it's $19. And this is actually, I'll be honest, I had some fun. I had some fun here because it's wait. Oh, okay. Start. Okay. I'm gonna go with easy. Just because.
Better, because I don't think we could do hard.
So at this point, I
mat.
know where bath mat is.
Bath mat.
Oh,
How do
well,
you know
I
that?
got lucky that there was another bath mat there, but
So it's concentration.
It's concentration.
Now,
right.
the idea was that you would be speaking at the same time as they're saying this, get your th sound.
That's right. Exactly.
Thumb.
And you're remembering where things are, and you're hearing them.
Weather.
So this, I mean,
Nice
I'll
job,
be
Sarah
honest,
Lane.
I actually was kind of proud of myself just now. 'Cause I have a hard time remembering things. But you can see where, so this seems like, wow, that's the simplest app in the world. But now here, the section is over. The teacher can write notes about maybe there was a problem area, or there's an issue with saying TH, or that kind of thing. And then you can also save the session to a certain folder to be able to access it later, go over it with parents, kind of thing. So there's actually more to this app than you might think at first glance. And not only are there is there memory concentration game, but there's some other stuff. It's mostly speech related, but there's some visual stuff as well. I could go on and on about all of the apps.
There are so many links, so many apps.
There really are. Just so you guys know, this is probably one of the most obvious ones of them all. But I just went into the App Store and I said, all right, so if I just start at the very beginning and I type autism into the App Store, just what's going to come up? And there's actually this resource. It's an app itself. It's called Autism Apps, but the app itself is just a bunch of links to apps that somebody, or I guess the company Touch Autism, has put together. So they've got featured apps. These are apps that are good for whatever reason. What's nice about it is that they're honest about what the reviews are in the App Store. So they're not all just 5 stars are the best. Here's some new apps that have, Singing Fingers, for example, 2.5 out of 5 stars. I don't know. But what they're doing is it's just an aggregator for apps that have everything to do with not just autism, but special needs in general. You can also search by category. And once you see all of the different apps that you have to choose
Look
from,
at that.
I mean,
Wow.
yeah, I mean, it's social stories, for example. I've never heard of any of these apps. I mean, these are just not really things that come across our radar that often on this show. And there are a ton of them. And once you go into, let's say I like Be Confident Who You Are. That sounds pretty good. 99 cents, iPad only. These are the reviews straight from the App Store. And you can look at iPad screenshots. This also comes from the App Store. It gives you just a really good sense of what you're going to be downloading before you download it, and some more details about the app. And then when you say, okay, I'm into it, I'm ready to do that, there's a download button, which will then dump you into the official App Store.
That's
so
a nice little app.
It is. Is
it free?
Yeah, go totally.
That's
yeah,
great.
Because it's really just linking
It's
you
just
to stuff that
aggregating.
you might not be
Yeah.
able to find through the App Store
Right.
search function. Because let's be honest, that these apps, if you don't know what you're looking for, you might not just come across them automatically. So anyway, this is a huge topic. I think that we were biting off quite a bit by saying, oh, we're going to cover special needs apps. But we hopefully have covered a few and just given you a sense that it is a huge market, and there's very concrete evidence that children and adults alike are really benefiting from this stuff. So if you feel like you're hitting a wall,
It's such a natural tool.
yeah, it really
Boy,
is.
is it great. You said our show notes. Those are online at twit.tv/IPT.
That's right.
We put each show has its own entry, and you can find the show notes and links there. Sarah does a good job of putting that all together. I wish we could capture the chat, because as we've been doing this, the chat room has come up with a ton of great stuff, too.
I know they have. I want to thank everybody again who sent in links to us. We will put more links than we usually do. Usually in our show notes, again, at twit.tv/IPT on a certain episode. This is episode 58. So, yeah, that's our page.
There it is.
In the show notes section, which we have on every show page, we link to everything that we talked about. In this particular show, we will link to many more that we didn't have a chance to get to, because I don't want you guys to feel left out.
This is a wiki, and anybody is invited to contribute to it.
That's a really good point.
So you'll have to create an account, but that just means putting an email address in, and we don't harvest the emails or anything. It's just to verify you.
Right.
So you see up in the upper right-hand corner, it says create account, and you can then go in. And what I would say is, instead of modifying our notes, put a line and just type in, and you don't have to know how to use a wiki. You don't have to be a wiki expert. Just type it in, and somebody will come back and format it. Some of our wiki experts are in there, our editors and so forth. And that's another way. So those of you who are in chat who had such great ideas, if you would love to get your thoughts into the wiki too. wiki.twit.tv, or just go to twit.tv/IPT, click the show notes link. That'll put you right in the show notes. Now, this episode comes out later in the day, so you won't have a link yet. Do you start the show notes page ahead of time?
No.
So it's not created as you watch live, but it will be created shortly after.
Yeah, it's over the weekend.
There's going to be a ton of stuff.
Really quick before we move on, I just wanted to mention that that Cindy Shepard also sent me a link to a page on. Do you say Scribd or Scribed?
Scribd.
You say Scribd. So Tom said the same thing. Okay, so it's on Scribd, and this is a direct link that we'll have in our show notes also, Chad. If you want to pull up my laptop, I have it up here, which is just, again, another amazing resource for a variety of apps that you may or may not have heard of, but it's definitely worth looking through. It gives good examples, just short descriptions on what the apps are about, direct links to their iTunes App Store links. And again, it is overwhelming how many people are putting effort into this. So it's good stuff. It's heartwarming.
It's really neat.
Yeah.
Yep. Thank you, Cindy, for that, and everybody who helped to contribute to that.
Very much so.
Before we continue on with the news of the iPad world, I would like to mention our friends at Citrix. Really are our friends. They've been very supportive of the show, and we thank them. And their great app, Go to My PC. It's actually perfect for iPad today, because Go to My PC, which is the app that lets you access your computer from anywhere, Mac or PC, at your office, at home, wherever you need to get online, also works with the iPad. The Go to My PC app on the iPad is incredible, and it's free. So here's what you do, because you could try this for free right now. Visit gotomypc.com. The offer code is iPad. That's simple, 4 letters, IPAD. So click the Try It Free button, enter the offer code iPad, and then download and install Go to My PC on your office computer or whatever computer you want to access, okay? That just takes a minute. It's very fast. It's completely secure. You don't have to get the IT department involved. You don't have to do any port forwarding or anything with the router. It just works. For the techie audience, it uses something called NAT traversal, very sophisticated stuff that makes it very straightforward to get it. If you've ever tried configuring virtual access or remote access before, this is the way to do it. Then go home. You can log into your computer. And by the way, completely secure. So it gives you a VPN, too. If you're in an open access spot, I was at a Starbucks the other day and logged in. I thought, oh, you know what? I'm on an open access spot. I'm exposing myself. You don't have to worry about that. You just log into your Go to My PC account, and then you're surfing through your office computer, completely encrypted, completely safe. So it's another nice benefit to it. Try it free for 30 days. Go to mypc.com, click the Try It Free button. Use the offer code iPad, and then after you sign up, look, Chad's going to do it right now. He believes. He believes. After you do it, get the iPad app. You will really, really dig it. The best way to do remote access. Go to mypc.com, and we thank them for their support of iPad today.
It's a partnership made in heaven, because the iPad is mobile. I don't care what Zuck says.
It is.
We're very mobile.
You know, I'm on jury duty, which is why I've been missing shows all week. And for a while, I was bringing my laptop. And I thought, this is too much. So I just bring my iPad. And, you know, I can do everything I want to do on my iPad.
I know.
You know what's interesting is how many, and we're going to talk about this later, HTML5 apps are starting to come out that you can just do it in the browser. This
is going to be the next wave.
I have to praise Steve. I was a little critical of Apple's decision to not have Flash on iOS, first on the iPhone and then on the iPad. But what's happened as a result, everybody wants to it's been such a success. Everybody wants to work with the iOS devices. So more and more sites have abandoned Flash, which, by the way, speaking of accessibility, is not accessible.
That's true.
So it makes your site hard for people to read. So get rid of it. And they've gone to HTML5, and we're going to talk a little bit about more and more apps. In fact, I think we're going to end up doing a show on HTML5 apps in the next few months because they just seem to pop up more and more.
We started talking about it, I don't know, a few shows ago because I think it was it the Washington Post that said, we're not even going to bother with an app, we're just going to give you a nice HTML5 Safari experience. I think it was Washington Post.
Well, now, I don't want
sure if
to
that's who it was.
scoop your story. Is it coming later, the Amazon story?
Yeah, it's coming later.
All right,
but
I'll
everyone
save
knows that it's coming.
I'll save that because we got a
about.
couple of HTML5 apps. Let me show you RDO because RDO has been greatly updated. This is not HTML5. RDO, if you tried Spotify or Mog
It's a Spotify
or
competitor,
Rhapsody,
but it was in the U.S. much earlier than Spotify.
I actually really like RDO, and one of the reasons I like it, and you'll see if you go to the collections and the activities. These are people I'm following. There's Malcow, Malcow Mauricio.
Mal Brown Cow.
Mal Brown Cow.
He works at Revision 3 for anyone who's like, who's
He's
that?
a great editor, really nice guy.
Yeah, he is.
So this is me. This is my network. So there's great social features in here, which help you. I think the social features are really cool because they help you find music. What's the point of an app like this? I suppose I should explain. This is a music playing app. It's one of those you subscribe for $10 a month.
That's right.
And you get unlimited access to their collection. The main reason somebody like me uses that is I'm tired of listening to what I got on my computer and my iPad and my iPod. I want to be introduced to new music. So to me, the social component is really important. I want to know what Sarah listens to. I want to know what Tom listens to. Baratunde is one of the people I follow on here. That really makes this much more useful because I can see not just what's new releases, but I can see what my friends like, what my friends are listening to. That's what makes Spotify so cool.
You can, it's not only discovery of what your friends are listening to, but then you can, let's say, if I go to my everyone or my network, sorry.
By the way,
it's very nice.
This caches it, and notice the little plus button. I can add.
Exactly.
Now, RDO's been out for the iPhone for a long time, and I've used the iPhone app on the iPad just as I've used the iPhone app for Spotify and Mog and everything else. You notice something about this? It's iPad-alicious.
That's right. So we have talked about RDO in the past, and people might say, well, you guys have mentioned this before.
Yeah,
but it was never this beautiful. It was fine. It worked on the iPad.
I just think they're doing a nice job.
But it is optimized for the iPad now. I know some folks who work at RDO, and they're really happy about the way that things turned out, and it's really beautiful. And by the way, I think that there is still a little bit of confusion that people have between, okay, so how is this different than something like, Pandora, which is free?
Because you could pick the song you want to listen to.
Right.
That's the big difference.
Pandora is, you think of it as very much like a radio station. You don't know what's coming next.
Right.
You can make it smarter over time by saying, I hate that song, never want to hear it again.
Right.
So you have some control over it, but it's like, there's an element of surprise here. RDO gives you much more control. You're paying to have a collection of music at your fingertips, but then you also have another layer of discovery because your friends, we all have friends that are hipper than us and are going to all these shows that we're not going to, and they help us discover new bands that we just wouldn't have discovered on our own.
This is the other thing that I think is important is that Spotify's been getting all the attention. This is RDO scooping Spotify because Spotify, Mog, none of the other guys yet have an iPad app, and I'm sure they're looking to this and saying, "Wow, they did a nice job here. We've got to duplicate this. It's really great.
It's beautiful. There is one little note that I've noticed. There is in-app purchasing through this app.
Really?
Now, if you purchase within the app, it is more expensive than if you purchase through RDO's website.
They add the Apple 30%, obviously.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So instead of them just losing money, they've actually jacked up the price from within the app so that they pretty much get the same amount. It's $14.99 in-app.
That's too bad.
$9.99 outside for the monthly subscription.
So sign up outside the app. Don't give Apple its 30%.
It's do what you want, but it makes a lot of sense to save yourself $5.
This, by the way, also I think actually maybe
You've got an interesting collection, Leo.
I have good taste, don't you think?
Well, some of it's better than others.
What don't you like on that? The Glee cast?
Well, I just why are you listening to Destiny's Child?
Because
that
there's
your
one
thing?
song,
Which one?
Bills, 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 baby.
Oh, I
That's-
thought it might be I'm a survivor.
No, this is the song. I don't care about anything else.
All right.
But Bills, 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 baby. That's a song.
Is it?
Don't you know that song?
Oh,
You pay my telephone bill.
I don't think you do.
Ooh.
So
Hey,
you
we should
can-
start an a cappella group.
We should. Let's do it. I didn't realize it was called Bills with Bills.
Yeah.
I actually like that song.
Of course you do.
I'm sorry for mocking
It's the
you.
greatest song of all time.
Well, okay.
Well, ain't doing those things you did no more. You're slowly making me pay for things your money should be handling.
Ooh.
And now you ask to use my car.
It's, you know what I like?
Yeah.
Angry girlfriend songs.
Me too.
Yeah,
Why do you like them though?
that's a good question. But this is like the best angry girlfriend song ever.
Kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a few.
I Will
There's-
Survive.
Well.
That's a classic.
Yeah.
What other
We don't
good
have to
angry?
sing- we
You
don't
want
have
to
to
share
sing that
some
one.
good angry girlfriend songs with me so I can? Oh, I know which one.
Which
Alanis Morissette.
Oh God.
Oh, that's a angry.
She's not angry, girlfriend. She's jilted, bitter
Jilted,
woman.
bitter one girlfriend.
Bitter little pill.
I like this one.
I'm not
No
crazy about that
scrubs.
song. I don't know.
No, really?
No
Oh, I
sc-
love it.
No scrubs. That's a girl who doesn't even want to be a girlfriend. She's gonna bypass it entirely
Yeah.
because he's a scrub.
He's a scrub.
Scrub is a guy that thinks he's fine. Okay. Anyway.
All day and don't fill up the tank. And you have the audacity to even
Okay. Can we talk about something else now?
RDO.
I'm
Thank
sorry
you.
I said anything.
Bye.
Let's move on to Facebook Messenger. Not
This
optimized,
is interesting.
Not optimized for iPad, mind you.
But it works fine.
But it works perfectly fine. And again, it's almost completely text-based.
It's baffling because Facebook still has not done an iPad app, and now they have 2 iPhone apps. They've got a Facebook app and now this Messenger app.
So the deal is, we have talked about Beluga in the past, and I've tried to get you hooked on Beluga with mixed results. But you get why I liked it is that it
Oh, yeah.
takes me away from SMS entirely.
It's group messaging, which is how we use
It's
it.
group messaging. You can, it's mostly you can use it one-on-one as just a back and forth conversation, but it's better for group messaging. And you can add pics and that sort of thing. And you can also see where someone is geolocated as long as they
That's Beluga.
want to share that with you. That's Beluga. Back in March, Facebook bought Beluga. And it was sort of like, oh gosh, Facebook does this, and then services go away or they're never updated again. Friend feed is a good example. What's going to happen? Beluga is still a live app, but most people agree that Facebook Messenger is what the Beluga team has been working on. Beluga itself will die.
Is this feature comparable to Beluga?
Totally. What's nice about it is that where Beluga, I had to tell you, sign up for this group messaging service, you'll like it, it's worth your time. Facebook Messenger
It knows your friends.
is all my Facebook friends.
Right.
And I have like however many thousands of them.
You can see it's an iPhone app, so.
You can see it's an iPhone app, so I should actually. What's weird is that in some views, you saw it rotated
Right.
in some views and not others. That's kind of an annoying thing about it. So you've got that. But if I was just to, start typing in,
There's all your friends.
yeah, these are my Facebook friends. So that gives you a much better reason to use something like this because it takes the pressure off of having somebody download an app that you have
And
to
it-
convince them is worth it.
If they don't have it, it will show up as a message in their Facebook message
Ye-
box.
Yes.
Okay.
Mm,
I bet it will.
Yes.
Well, send me a message 'cause
yes,
I don't have it.
it does. It shows up in your messages box. What it doesn't show up in is chat.
It shouldn't.
I don't know.
Send me a message. I'm just.
all right.
Let's see how it comes in. Because now I have an iPad, so I don't have the Facebook app. I have Friendly, which is a pretty good Facebook kind of clone. So let me open up my Friendly here.
Okay, I'm sending.
Friendly for Facebook.
I meant to say yo
Oh,
dog, but I said to dog.
Don't show my screen because I have to sign in. Hold on.
Oh, okay.
I'm signing into Facebook now, just in case. The other thing
Are you still using Friendly?
I like Friendly. There's no Facebook app.
Oh my gosh.
What do you use? The web?
What a flip-flopper you are. You used to dislike Friendly. You told me
did?
that, yes, you said the Safari experience is much better.
Well, it's more native.
That's true.
Facebook looks perfectly
You were tired
good.
of going native.
I decided
decided
not
to.
So now you've sent me a message.
See, I don't even know if Friendly is going to work. This is an
Well,
interesting
that's why I
experience.
opened Friendly actually, because I wanted to see
Experiment.
if it comes through. There's birthdays. Here's messages or notifications. No, I don't think it did come through.
Well, look at your
Wait a minute.
messages.
Oh, I got a new message. Don't show my messages yet.
Okay.
In case they're. Look. It did come through.
Two dog.
Two dog. Look at
That
that.
should be our new meme. Two dog.
Two dog. And by the way, the last message I sent you was,
I've been using Rockmelt, a
Download
cool new
Rockmelt.
browser. I think you'll like it.
can I erase that? I'm
Gee,
so embarrassed.
That sounds just like you. Well, that was the automated thing. You were just sharing it with me, and that's the
I wish I
the
was giving you
automated
an invite.
text.
Okay.
Exactly.
So
Listen,
this does
there was
work. Now,
nothing wrong with
if I
Rockmelt.
send this belt back to you, yo, you scrub, and I send it. Now it's going to go back to you
That's
on their
right.
Messenger. So this is nice. So what it means is you don't have to have Messenger. You
so
can
if
use
you look
this.
at my iPad now, it's pretty instantaneous.
Oh, that was instant.
Yeah. Yo, you scrub. This is really, really
The way that one at the top
Kind of a
is
thespian
you responding to
conversation.
my invitation to be my friend on Facebook, and your response was, Leo doesn't have a Facebook account. Thanks.
Oh, isn't that just cold as ice?
You
that was back
froze
when.
me out.
So can I explain myself for just a second?
Yes.
Leo triumphantly left Facebook, as Leo does with services
And then I
every once in a
triumphantly
while.
returned.
I'm out of here. Closed everything down, and then I saw Leo Gordon Laporte trying to
Inviting
friend me.
you to Facebook.
So I wrote back to this person that I thought was not Leo.
Oops.
Leo doesn't have a Facebook account. Later, and then Leo said to me the next
Yes,
day,
I do.
"Why didn't you respond to my friend request? That was me. That was really rude."
Well, I rejoined Facebook because
how
I
can I
realized
keep
for
track?
things like this, I have to be a member of Facebook. But you know what? I've quit, and I have had no repercussions.
You're back off the sauce.
LinkedIn.
Oh.
No repercussions. Not one person said, "Where's your LinkedIn account? We miss you on LinkedIn."
Yeah, the only thing I get from LinkedIn is email reminders that someone I've never met
That's
wants
why I
to
quit.
add me as a connection.
Now I'm looking at the Facebook web interface, and the same thing. It comes in just beautifully. By the way, happy birthday, Steve Wozniak.
Happy birthday, Steve.
Yep,
That's
it's
awesome.
his birthday today.
How wonderful.
This is actually the only use for Facebook
You
at
should
all.
add Liz Gaines as a friend. People you may know.
They do want me to add her as a friend.
Right.
I do know her.
But you don't want to add her as a friend?
She's, you know what? She's been bugging me for so long, and I just
Yeah. She that really sounds like Liz. You know? Hi, Lo.
I should add her. Actually, she's a nice. nice person.
She's great.
I like Liz.
She's one of their
Actually,
smartest, their best and
We
brightest.
should get her on Twit. Come to think of it.
I don't know why you haven't so far.
Foolish me.
Also, just a quick note that Google Plus is now officially supported on the iPad. You may recall that a couple of weeks ago I showed you how to get around it. It was released for iPhone, but if you had an iPad and you searched for it in the store, it would just never come up.
But that got my hopes up when you told me that. But it's still the iPhone app.
That's right.
So-
well, you just don't have to do that workaround that I told you about, where you download like an iPhone
But
utility.
there's no
and then you.
iPad version.
That's true, but
I mean, you can use Safari, so I guess that's okay.
Google Plus is still it's lacking.
The app isn't that good, to be honest with you.
No, it's okay. If you I look at my notifications here and I click on it, it's fine. Okay, so I've got some people adding me and well, that's pretty much it. I was gonna click on a mention, but okay, so there's just a lot of adding going on this morning, so that's wonderful. The huddles are still weird because people are
Yeah.
having huddles with each other and I don't know any of them and I
Right.
don't know why I'm seeing all of this
At
stuff.
least you can get rid of them now.
You can get rid of them. If you go to your stream,
And by the way, you have to have the app to get huddles. There
That's
are
right.
no huddles on the web interface.
exactly.
So that is actually the argument for that. But huddles, which is like Beluga or Facebook Messenger, isn't as good as either. So I use WhatsApp. You ever use WhatsApp?
No.
That's another good kind of text replacement, SMS replacement. Allows you to add pictures, audio. I think it's like Beluga.
That's pretty cool.
I like WhatsApp.
The one thing about going back to Facebook Messenger for a second that's interesting is, Facebook likes to lean on people adding in their phone numbers to their
Right.
profiles. I've never done that because I think it's weird, and I don't want anybody to call me, frankly.
Right.
I just do anything but call me, pretty much, is the way it works for me. Beluga bypassed SMS entirely. A service like GroupMe
it
gives you
doesn't
the
need
option.
any phone number at all. It's all
App-based.
data-based. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But Facebook Messenger will give you the option to do either. Now, I'm not really sure why people would prefer SMS.
Yeah.
See, I don't have an unlimited texting plan, so I'm like, I'd like to just get rid of my texting plan.
You don't.
Well, no, because I have
You're so
reasons.
modern.
I have reasons to move over to data only.
Right.
Especially unlimited data plans, which I do have my iPad. Let's just do all my correspondence through there, or as
Right.
much as I can as possible. Some people prefer. So Google Messenger or Facebook Messenger, pardon me, does give you a little bit more interactivity besides just a much bigger database of all of your friends that you might want to talk to, but some some control over
And
how you use it.
that's I think the main reason for this kind of thing is to save you money on texting. Yes.
Well,
You can get to do more than text, so that's true.
I mean that's certainly what I think it's good for. But I think it just keeps you from. Well, I mean, I would not be able to use Facebook Messenger on my iPad if I had to go through SMS, for
Right.
example.
Right.
So there you go. I mean,
Right.
it just gives you more devices
Saves
to be
money.
able to talk to people.
Saves money.
Yeah.
We're going to take a break. Come back. We have more emails and great voicemails from listeners just like you. Not you. Sorry. But just like you.
Yeah, but maybe that person might be watching.
What are the odds of that? This show brought to you by our friends at Audible.com. I listen to Audible religiously all the time in the car, at the gym, anywhere I can't, physically hold a book, but I want to get some reading done. And it turns out there's a lot of time in my life, and I bet in yours too, where you could be reading, but you can't physically hold a book. Audible, go visit Audible right now. Audible.com. Actually, we have a special address. If you go to audiblepodcast.com/iPad today.
That's right.
Actually, if you go there right now, you'll sign up for the gold account and you'll get a book for free. Your first month's free. Cancel at any time. The book's yours to keep forever. That's one of the things I like about Audible. They give you that free book to give you a chance to see if you like it. And then once you get the book, I'm sorry, my microphone keeps popping.
I was noticing. I was watching it fall, kind of in slow motion. Like, how is that not falling completely?
I think I'm gonna have to start doing the Madonna thing and tape it to my.
Is that what Madonna does?
Yeah.
Because mine's like way out here.
Yeah.
I don't know if.
Now it's a good fit. That's tight. So Audible has, of course, we're working iTunes. So on the iPad, it's very easy. You just, download the books from the Audible.com site and sync it up, and you've got them there. But they also have a fantastic, for the iPhone and Android phones, they have a fantastic application which shows your whole library. I have over 500 books. I mean, it's like a bookshelf now because I've been an Audible member for 11 years. I have to say, if you haven't tried Audible, please go to audiblepodcast.com. And try it right now. Get your first book. Let me just go to audible.com real quickly and see if there's anything. I'll visit the mobile store. That's interesting. I have never done this on the mobile. Look at that.
I didn't realize that. Yeah, that's
bestsellers. The Help's coming out as a movie. Can't wait to see it. If you've not listened to The Help yet, before you see the movie, it's the best book.
Really?
Oh,
because I watched the trailer the other day and I thought this will either be good or so syrupy and awful.
Listen, I'll just play.
Tell.
Listen, I'll just play a little bit of this. You're gonna love this.
Being a colored man living and working in Mississippi. Lord, that
act
made
it
me
out.
proud.
All the characters are in it.
But one night he working late at the Scanlon Taylor Mill, lugging 2x4s to the truck. Splinters slicing all the way through the glove.
It is such a good book, and
Okay,
the
so
dramatization of this
that's
is
a
great.
example because I don't know how to do a Mississippi accent in my head.
It's acted out
when I'm reading.
It's exactly.
So you get more out of it.
When I listen to audiobooks, I feel like I'm watching the movie, but it's instead of the movie maker's vision, my imagination, it plays in my head, and oftentimes, I think that what I listen to is actually something I saw happen. It's very vivid, very real. It is the best way, I think, to read. Fiction, nonfiction, history, technology, sci-fi. Audible's got over 85,000 titles, and you can try the first one free right now. audiblepodcast.com/iPad today.
And if you already have gotten your free book and you love Audible already, tell somebody else about the URL.
That
so
would
they
be
can,
nice.
They can get started.
Yeah, that would help us.
Yeah, absolutely.
That would be really nice. So yeah, they have. Before I go see a movie, I like to listen to the book on Audible and then go see the movie because sometimes you see the movie. It's only 2 hours. They've taken a full length. This is an 18-hour book and squozed it down. But now you know the whole thing. It's like the ultimate spoiler.
Right.
So I think it ruins the book. I would rather read the book and then see the movie. That's just my personal
I think
choice.
most people agree with you, especially because the movie is almost always the one that leaves out a lot of details.
Right.
So then you read the book later and you're like, why didn't they cover any of this? This is a really great scene.
It would be sad to think that, and I'm sure there are plenty of them, people never read Harry Potter, only saw the movie, never read Lord of the Rings, only saw the movie. That'd be sad.
That's me and me.
Really?
Yeah.
That's sad.
It is sad.
That's pathetic.
Well, it's just the way that it happens.
You know what? You're probably saying to yourself, I don't have time. Audible.com.
Oh, I have more time to listen to Audible books than I do to read.
You
exactly.
commute. You would have 2 hours a day of reading. Think about that. What do
I
you do?
have thought about
What do
it.
you do in the car when you're driving up here?
I listen to audiobooks
Oh,
or
okay.
NPR, podcasts
Right.
or I mean, no.
You don't waste the
preaching
time.
to the choir here.
Okay, good.
I just happen to not have read Harry Potter or Lord of the Rings.
Well,
but
once
I
you
liked
start
the
Harry
movies.
Potter, it would take you probably the rest of the year to finish it. So
That's true. All right, moving on. This is an email we got from Jason. He lives in Paris. That's
okay,
kind
I'm just
of
jealous right now.
why? Because he lives in Paris?
Yeah.
I know, I'm jealous too.
But I'm glad he watches us in Paris.
Me too.
We've got fans in Paris.
I'm thrilled.
Can we come stay with you?
We would very much like to come stay with you, Jason. Is that okay? Address in your next email, please. And if you could pay for our flights, that would be great.
I love this article he sent us. This is hysterical.
It's the weirdest weird story you'll hear, at least in this episode. I don't know. Maybe we'll be able to top this next week. iPad cases made out of Bernie Madoff's old clothing. You ask, what are you talking about,
And
sir?
why?
Apparently. All right.
He apparently wears
an
fancy
entrepreneur
pants.
by the name of John Vaccaro bought most of Madoff's wardrobe at an auction of his assets last year. And instead of just, wearing them or being creepy about it, he decided, let's make iPad covers that sell for anywhere between about $350 to $500
Whoa.
and then sell them on his website so that people who were slighted by Bernie Madoff or just get a kick out of this whole thing, could buy them and he could make a pretty penny. I don't know what he paid for the clothing collection initially, but he was already selling iPad cases made out of cashmere, so it was sort of this luxurious type of a thing going on.
Up.
Isn't that weird? I mean, it's just weird.
It feels like a joke, but I don't think it is.
No, it's not a joke. It's not a joke at all. And then decided, I'm going to go the extra mile and do the Madoff collection.
Does it have a stamp or a certificate of authenticity or something?
I think
Or are you just kind of satisfied in the knowledge that these are Bertie's pants?
Well-
I like it. There's the pocket.
Isn't that great?
Oh,
it's
my
very,
goodness.
It's very weird.
I can see why they're so expensive because he probably has a limited number.
Well, I figured that since he has record of actually buying this merchandise, that maybe you just have to kind of assume that these really are the clothes. Well, look, what else is he going to do with the clothes besides
honestly,
make money off of them?
Is anybody going to spend $500 for an iPad case made out of Bertie Madoff's pants?
The first 5 iPad cases made from a navy blue Christian Dior sweater and a Bergdorf Goodman cardigan sold almost instantly just by word of mouth.
Wow.
Said John Vaccaro. Whether or not that's true, I don't know.
Wow, what a story.
It's weird.
That
But
is
there you go.
Just hysterical.
He also says, I looked through all the pockets first before I sold them to see if there were any bills inside.
So
Madoff.
if you go right now to read, do this on your iPad because it's more fun.
Okay.
Read.amazon.com.
Okay.
You will see Amazon's response to Apple's decision to start charging companies for in-app purchases 30%. Amazon, of course, immediately changed their Kindle app to take out in-app purchases, which is frankly kind of confusing because you can't buy in the app. Well, here's their solution: an HTML5 app. This is Safari I'm looking at, but then what you'll do is you can bookmark this. It actually, and notice the Kindle store is built in and everything. It actually will reserve 50 megabytes on your iPad's desktop, and then you've got a new kind of Kindle app. Let me go over because I did that. This is called the Cloud Reader.
What you did was you
it gives you instructions.
It's the little arrow.
Yeah, it gives you instructions.
Add a icon to your home screen.
I would defy anybody to know the difference between this and an actual app. So I'm in the store right now. I can go back to my library. Yes, this is HTML5. This is the web. And when you want to read a book, you pin it. I've pinned this book. It is exactly the same as the regular Kindle experience. I could, turn the pages. If you tap up here, you've got the same features. You can have sepia, which is my preference. I can have somewhat larger text, apply those settings. It may be a little, different in some ways to how you're used to it. You still have bookmarking. You still have annotation capabilities. Everything is the same except that it's not an app, which means they can now take you to the Kindle store from within the app. It's much more logical, in my opinion, way to use it. I just think this is fantastic. So let's say I want to add a book. I'll just show you what it looks like. This is a good book. Have you read this, The Male Brain?
No.
It explains everything. Now,
I'd like
by the
to know
way,
more about why it's so weird, though.
I have not yet added it. So what it did is it downloaded just the next page. It jumped to the page I was at. So even without, now that's if you're online, but if you're not online, you want to pin it. Now it will cache. Let me go back to the mail brain and pin it. It will cache, but what you want to do is download it. I don't see it. Is it at the top? Oh, because I downloaded it. And now I can download and pin book. I held that. Now that means it's going to download the book into that 50 megabyte space. That's one negative. Unlike the Kindle app, you are limited to 50 megabytes.
Right.
But that's a lot of book, 50 megabytes. And if you don't pin them, it will download automatically recently opened books and keep them until the space is needed. So now this book, I can go on an airplane anywhere and I can read it even though this is a browser. I think they did a really nice job. This is, frankly, I think the future of apps in many ways. You know what the real irony is? When the iPhone first came out, this is what Steve Jobs said. There weren't any apps. He said, our apps are going to be web apps, right? Mm-hmm. By the way, this is what's wrong with the male brain right there. Our apps are going to look. Everything looks good even now because it's a website. By the way, we do have some links in here, which is kind of neat. These are footnotes, I think, but still kind of handy, right? They've just done a nice job on this. This is the future. It's also the past of apps on the iPhone and the iPad.
We talked about this a little bit on TNT yesterday, where it's like
I love it.
Everyone wants to make this a story about how Amazon is sticking it to Apple.
Right.
Right.
Well,
they're beating Apple
headline.
at their own game.
Yeah. Screw you, Apple. That's what we said.
But what they're actually doing is what Apple has encouraged for a long time. I mean,
These are
even
web apps.
in my settings, so I did the exact same thing as you did. And by the way, when you look at Leo's screen here, it's like there is nothing that says Safari on here.
No.
I mean, to initially set things up, you're in the Safari window, but then you launch Cloud Reader, and you have no idea that you're not going through a native app.
And by the way, if you're online and we're on a Wi-Fi connection, you don't have to download the book, and it's very responsive. Look, I didn't download this one. I'm going to jump to page 300 right now, and it's
I found it was slightly less responsive.
Slightly, but I mean, you saw how quickly
than the
it did
Kindle
that.
app. But yeah, I mean, it's very doable. And just a little note, we got an email from somebody, and now I'm very unfortunately for I think it might have been Dwayne Andrews. Yes, Dwayne Andrews had sent us an email and pointed out something in settings. If you look at my settings, I'm in general settings, but if I go down to my Safari settings, and then you go into databases, then you can actually see my read.amazon.com databases and what I'm actually using from my 50 megabytes. I mean,
most of it looks like.
Well, most of it, yeah, because I've got some books in there, but it's all built in. I mean, it's supposed to work this way. Right. iOS is designed to handle this type of HTML app, and it works really well. And the only thing that Apple's not getting, of course, is their 30%. But they forced Amazon into. I mean, Amazon was obviously working on this already. But this is the next.
I'd like to see more of this.
It's the only solution that really makes sense for a company.
I would totally like to see more of
Me
this.
too.
I think this is just a really natural way. It doesn't feel like the web page, but what I think is important is it is a web page. It is a standards-based web page, and I kind of like that. So.
Oh, somebody in chat pointed out that I've actually used just 40. Kilobytes of my 50 megabytes.
Oh.
Thanks, guys. You know, it's funny. In the back of my mind, I was like, well, I don't have that many.
Well, let me look, because I bet you I've used quite a bit here.
Let's see. So go into Safari.
So I have to go to the Safari settings?
Safari settings. But I think Safari's up top.
Above. That's the apps, right?
Yeah. There you go. And then databases under accept cookies. There you go. And then go all the way down.
Look at all the databases.
I know. Isn't that crazy?
K4W.
There you go.
Or K4W books. Let's see.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've used 48 out of my 50.
Holy crap. Wow. You're on fire.
Well, I downloaded 2 or 3 books, and some of my books are kind of big. So, but that's fine. That's fine. I mean, actually, wait a minute. Kindle Cloud Reader books, and then look here. Kindle Cloud Reader. I don't know what the difference is.
I don't.
I think this is the app.
Uh-huh.
Maybe, and this is the website. I don't know.
Yeah, good question.
I don't know. Yeah,
if anyone knows what the discrepancy is, please let us know.
I think they've done a really nice job. I have the Kindle app. I'll probably keep using the Kindle app just because I already downloaded all the books.
Right.
But I think this is a nice way to do it. Good solves a problem.
Solves a problem for anybody
and
who
it has a store button.
Didn't really understand the backstory of why the purchase button had to be removed.
Where did the store button go?
Because people blamed Amazon. They said, "What you've just made things so much more difficult for me. And look at that. I mean, this looks like an app.
Right.
Everything about this is very app-like.
Nicely done.
We have a voicemail from Leanne, and she has a question about iPad security.
Speak
Hey,
to
Leo
us.
and Sarah. Aloha from Hawaii. This is Leanne. I have a quick question. I have a 64 gig 3G iPad 2, and I wanted to know, is it secure for me to do online banking when I'm on the 3G? I don't do it when I'm on public Wi-Fi, but I'm wondering if it's secure when I'm on the 3G network. Hope to hear your comment on the show. Thanks a lot.
So I guess her question is
Is it secure?
Wi-Fi is fine if I'm at home and my Wi-Fi is locked down, but 3G...
Open Wi-Fi is the same. It's safe. It's just as safe in either case. 3G might be marginally safer, but what you have to understand is it's always safe to do your banking, even on an open access point, as long as your bank is using secure HTTPS, which all banks do. So even if you're at an open access point, as long as you don't get any weird certificate pop-ups that say, hey, this certificate doesn't match the name of the page you're trying to go to, that would mean that the person at the coffee shop, for instance, was intercepting it. But as long as you don't see any weird certificates, you're fine on open access. 3G is probably even a little safer, but absolutely safe to use that because even if there were security issues, which I don't know of any, the bank is encrypting that transaction back and forth. Nobody can see it.
Now, Arbiter in our chat room says, I wouldn't do banking from open Wi-Fi. I guess if it's you almost
It's
have
safe.
it's more, there's more of a likelihood that someone's reading over your shoulder in a public place.
That might be an issue.
That
might be
doesn't
an
have
issue.
anything to do with
I didn't
Wi-Fi
even
versus
think of that.
3G.
And it is true that not everybody knows what to do when they see a certificate pop up. You would
Right.
get on the iPad or even on your laptop, you would get a pop up that says, well, you're trying to go to Bank of America, but it doesn't say Bank of America, and you'd get a warning from any modern browser.
Yes.
You can always, if you wish, get information on the page you're on about its certificate. It should say the name of the bank in the certificate, then you're safe. The hack is what we call a man-in-the-middle attack, where, and if you don't watch security now, this probably doesn't all make sense to you, but the hack is that somebody uses a different certificate to intercept. By the way, it's not... that thing could happen at your internet service provider as well. It probably is happening to you at work. So this is not something that happens only on open access spots. It would require somebody to grab your access, whether your internet service provider, your boss, or the open access spot, and decrypt it using a phony certificate. So they have to use a phony certificate or their certificate and then pass it along to the bank. That's one reason we don't use, by the way, the Opera mini browser, because that's exactly what it does in order to compress pictures, is it intercepts your traffic. But that's not happening. You're
Right.
okay.
Leanne, aloha to you. Thank you. Mahalo for the question.
Aloha and mahalo.
Aloha and mahalo. And you're good to go. Good to go. Bank away.
Yeah.
Hope you're doing well financially. We want to hear from you guys. As always, we love your feedback. We spent a lot of time on the accessibility apps, feedback that we've gotten over the last few weeks. So there's a lot of emails that we weren't able to get to in this show otherwise, but we'll try to make up. Maybe we'll do like a viewer created episode one of these days where we use a lot of feedback and ideas and
Sounds
theme.
good.
I know.
We can take a day off.
Well, no, actually, we just have to research what everyone suggested. So it's the same amount of work. But it's like, I don't want to feel like I'm ever ignoring everybody. iPadtoday@twit.tv is our email address. Leave us a voicemail, 757-504-IPAD. That spells iPad, is our Google Voice number. And we haven't gotten a video in a while, or at least I haven't seen any. You know what's really helpful? And what we want you to do is put your video up somewhere and then send us the link. Email us the link. In that email subject line, if you can remember, if you say video, even in all caps or something, that'll help it jump out to me so that I don't miss some cool video that you did. Try to keep it to 30 seconds or less. That makes it the easiest for us to roll into the show. And thank you in advance. We love to hear from you. You're a great community.
You are.
Mwah.
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 We're going to take a little break here and talk about what to do with your old iPad if you're ready to get a new one, or your old phone if you're ready to get a new phone, or any old gear lying around your house. Most of the people who watch Twitch shows have a drawer or a closet or an entire storage room
I have a closet.
dedicated to old gadgets.
Yes.
And it's, I know you always think, oh, I'll give them to somebody, or I'll give them to Goodwill, or I'll throw them out, or I'll go on eBay and sell them. And I've got a way to do this. It's so easy. If you just go to gazelle.com, like the animal, GAZELLE.com, you can actually, they will buy your used gadget. They will buy it from you if it has any value at all. In fact, if you go to gazelle.com right now, you can type in whatever that gadget is, iPad 1, 32 gigabytes. They'll ask you a few questions. They'll say, well, what condition? Does it run? Is it beat up? Do you have the cables? Do you have the stuff that it came with? And they will then tell you how much they'll give you. Now, this is the beauty of it. You then throw it in a box, any box. Find a box around the house, and then add more stuff to it. Fill up a box with stuff. Pack it nicely, tape it up well. They will give you a mailing label to print so that you can, no postage cost to you. You send it to Gazelle. If there's data on it, of course, I know there is on your iPad. If there's data on it, you can totally do this fear-free, because they're data experts. When they assess the value of the good, automatically wipe data. That's one of the things Gazelle does. If the object doesn't run anymore, if it really is an old piece of junk, or it just never had any value, they will do the right thing. They will recycle it properly. In the U.S., no shipping overseas, no landfill. They get all the heavy metals, they get all the various components, and they recycle it appropriately. So you have that good feeling too. Gazelle's great for gadget drives for your nonprofit. They'll even create a Gazelle page just for you. A great way to get some money. One of our chat room people actually paid her rent. 1 month, an entire month's rent from old gadgets lying around the house. I know you've heard about Gazelle. I bet you've got some stuff. This would be a good day to do it. Don't sell it, Gazelle it. Go to gazelle.com. And by the way, if you want a little extra cash for your stuff,
I would love that.
Use our special offer code, and they'll give you an additional 5% on the offer they've already given you. So go through it, get all the offers, and then at checkout, add the offer code TWIT, TWIT, and you'll get an additional 5%. Don't sell it. You can't wear that.
Why?
We need hats. Gazelle it. Look at this. Hats are here.
This is something I'm very proud of.
Here. Which one do you want?
This one.
Coast Guard. And I'll
Why
be Russian.
won't you let me
I'll be Russian police.
wear my pillow?
Or you like this one, I know. It's AppCap time.
It's AppCap time.
What is this sticking out of your hat? That's
know.
not good.
It's a visor.
Okay.
I don't know. These are your hats. What are you asking me for?
I
You've got
know.
the same one.
They had a little problem in the transportation.
Oh, I see.
of the
Look,
cottage.
you can make it. Now,
I got this.
Now it looks fine.
I got this in St. Petersburg. This is a Russian policeman's hat.
St. Petersburg. The old Pete.
The old Pete. Good old Leningrad.
Oh, Leningrad.
So it is time for our favorite app of the week, and Sarah Lane, as always, kicks things off.
It's called 123D Sculpt. It was suggested to me by a few people, but originally by Dan N via Google+.
Ooh, this looks fun.
So thanks to Dan N. It's free right now, but it's only free for a limited time.
This looks fun.
It is amazing. So let's go to my iPad, and I will show you a creation I have already in progress of a dog. I have already added...
You did that?
Yeah, I did. So I gave him little stars for eyes. And I gave him a little white thing, and I gave him, okay, let me go back. I didn't mean to give him a yellow leg, but I gave him a yellow tail. And what you can do is, so if I'm moving around outside of the object itself,
this is pretty cool.
It rotates the object. If I'm on the object itself, I'm drawing within.
Wow.
And it doesn't go outside the lines because the object, I'll just go back. Or if I have two fingers on the object, then I actually move the object around, or I can make it bigger, to do some detailed work. So, for example, if I wanted to, I don't know, let's make the ears, let's give it kind of like a
So did you
red
start
type
with a
of
dog model?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Now you can draw your own models, and you can pinch and squeeze and manipulate as well, as if it were made of clay.
Exactly. So here's the clay area. Let's say I want the tail to start, getting a little weird here. Oh, I see what I'm doing. So now I'm actually manipulating.
Oh my God! Look at that.
The tail.
You're inflating it.
Yeah, I'm making it really weird. But
Right.
So you have other options too. So it's almost like a type of Photoshop type of a thing. But instead of different brushes, you have different techniques to manipulate your clay. It's really weird. So let's go ahead and start a new project so you get a sense of, yeah, I'll go ahead and save that. It's the best dog ever. You get a sense of what you have to choose from. So these are your shapes. Sorry that you can see my hat in the background. The shapes that you have to choose from. So these are just the default stuff. You've got a head, a man, a dog. That's the one I use. An owl. It's kind of cool. An elephant.
Can you import
iguana.
shapes or draw your own from scratch? I guess you can because you could do geometric shapes.
Yeah,
so you could start with a square, a cube,
I haven't figured out. Well, they give you a lot of this stuff.
So then you could import a face on top of. Oh, that's nice.
Right.
A moose head.
You've got, if you want to do
This
some
is
sort
fun.
of a shoe type of a thing. So if you want to get more, see, here's where they actually make some money off of you, even although this app is free. Let's say that you want to go into the medieval creatures. And
Oh,
you
this
say,
is from Autodesk.
Oh, yeah. These are Autodesk people. Sorry, I didn't mention that off the top. This is the 99 cents for this collection. You get a sword and a shield.
Oh, this is really
and all sorts of
cool.
cool stuff. I always feel bad when I demo these apps because I very clearly have
you
no
have no
artistic
skill.
talent.
Yeah.
But
That's pretty apparent.
anybody, well, I'm acutely aware of that.
Balloon
all right.
tail.
Listen, look at that dog. That's an awesome dog.
It's
Everything's awesome about that dog. He even made his
Something's really wrong with that.
You can also make things symmetric. So if you're making
Ooh.
yeah, so I'm making it on both sides.
Oh my goodness.
This dog is really getting ugly.
Oh.
And then
wow.
then you can save stuff. You can either save an image, you can save a project, or you can actually save a video of it sort of spinning around. So I'll go ahead and not save this. But here's my sculptures. I created this
You have no natural ability.
This is a man that I made look really awful. Listen, it's like a child with clay.
It is.
These are the
It's
sorts of
cute.
things you're going to do.
It's
You're
fun.
just going to pummel a face.
No, this is how you learn.
This is how you learn, exactly.
That you have no artistic ability.
I didn't ruin the back of him. I just ruined the front of him.
No, I can't wait to play with this. How much is this?
It's free.
No.
Well, right now it's free. I'm not actually
get
sure
this
what
right
it was
now.
before it was free.
This would be great for kids.
Wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Then I have images, and then I have videos. This was
Alex
video that
Lindsay
you can
uses
save.
programs like this. Actually, the big brother of this to do these kinds of things for videos and so forth. This is what people use. So a great way to get some basic skills in here. That's fantastic.
Absolutely. So
I
then,
have a
of
feeling
course,
Alex will pick this on iPad on Mac Break Weekly. This
well,
is
I hope
great.
he does.
Yeah.
Then, of course, you can send to your photo library, or I'm not sure what it would. Oh, I guess the movie would go into iTunes or YouTube.
Yeah, it's a movie.
That kind of thing.
That doesn't look like you can export to an other program that.
No, and I looked around because I thought, well, but what if you want to bring it into some sort of an Autodesk program? This seems a little more like
This is for
proof of,
Right.
do you like where this is going, the shape, Leo,
Right.
while I'm making this medieval kingdom app for you type of a thing.
Well, by the name you can tell 123D.
Exactly.
Kind of like 123D.
Yeah,
Right.
and I think if you've got talent, this is a great resource. It does a lot of stuff. If you're a kid and you just want to touch stuff, which is kind
I
of the
love it.
creations
Oh,
that I'm
kids would
making,
love this.
I'm acting like a child. It's awesome.
Do you
And-
remember a program called Goo, when you were a kid? Because it was a very popular program for kids. Very similar, only it was 2D. You would goo faces and stuff.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, Kai's Power Goo.
I don't think I do remember
It's an
this.
inexpensive Mac program. Is very popular. Well, this is basically 3D Goo.
It's very much so. And if
Yeah.
you get stuck, they have a pretty cool help section just in your little information button here, where you can go into the help and just get some general tips on what the heck's going on. You can choose to show tool tips, which is actually a really good key for when you're just starting out, because none of these make any sense to me. I don't know the difference yet, so that's probably good to have turned on if you want to start playing around for the first time. But anyway, 123D Sculpt. It is free right now for a limited time, so get it. And if you want to make medieval shapes or add on, it seems like the extra little packs are only about 99 cents
Yeah,
each.
it's really cool.
Isn't it cool? I agree.
Thank you, Skipper.
You're welcome, Skipper. Captain.
Little buddy.
Whatever you
I
are.
do kind of look like the Skipper in Gilligan's Island with his hat.
Yeah.
Hey, little buddy. Hey, Gilligan. God, that's sad.
No, it's not
Alan,
sad.
what was his name?
You're
Alan?
young at heart.
Yeah, young at heart. That means I'm old in body. So this is a first for
Okay.
iPad today.
All right.
My app cap is an HTML5 application. That means
It is
this
not-
is not an app. It's a web page that makes it into an app.
It is not actually an app, as we've always considered the app caps to be, but
It's
it's
a web app.
still an app.
But it really shows you what you can do, and it got a lot of attention this week. Olo, O-L-O game.com. That's the website. So you don't download this from the store. You actually go to ologame.com. You can press play now, and it will start playing the game, but will also give you the opportunity as you play the game to, if you show my screen, there you go, add to home screen, just as we did with the Kindle.
Yeah, with the cloud reader.
And that gives you a bookmark on your desktop
And then
called Olo that looks just like an app.
Right.
Now watch.
Yeah.
This is just like a real app. You could play offline, and this is the key with HTML5 apps. Uh-oh.
It's
Uh-oh.
loading. It's loading.
Uh-oh.
Spaghetti-o.
Uh-oh.
Spaghetti-o.
There it is. It did. It took a little while to load.
Yeah.
That's because I'm using it locally. It was trying to find the old game. So this app is very simple. It's a two-player game. You'll sit on one side, I'll sit on the other. Very much like bocce ball. My goal is to get my little circle into my zone here, not past or in front of it, by sliding it. It's actually...
So you're on the line, so there's some points.
Gonna make it. And then
And you're playing
it has
the
to be
computer,
more than
right?
half on the...
Oh, I see. You're just playing both
I'm playing
sides.
both sides, but we could play against each other. That one was perfect, right? But now I can, just like in bocce ball,
why are the balls different,
knock it
different
out.
sizes?
Well, different sizes have different mass.
Aha.
And so it makes it a little bit more interesting because if you throw a little one against a big one, it's not going to move it hardly at all. Oops, I did.
But why did the
yes, that was
first
the right
ball?
thing to
Why
do.
was the first ball smaller than all of the others?
They'll come out in different sizes.
I
It's
see.
random.
Okay.
And you notice that if you don't get it in the zone, it disappears. So
There's something simplistically wonderful about this.
it's actually a fun game. Is there
Yeah.
audio? I actually don't know. Whoops. You see what happened?
I bet there's audio.
That one's going to disappear because it's the... Now, you can, by the way, play balls that are... Whoops. I guess you can't. If they're in the right... Oh, that was good, Leia.
Really good, Leo. You've obviously played a lot of bocce. Ooh, this is the big gun.
Boom. Oh, it got back in.
Oh, so it blinked to let you know it was out of range.
Yeah, but now watch.
Now what do you do?
I would like to... I don't... Oh, yeah, you're right. You know, this one's giving me a hard time, so I'm going to go
You
boom.
just go nuts.
Look at
There you
that. There we go.
go. Look, you're in.
I'm in,
Everybody's
baby.
in, pretty much.
Yeah.
So then,
yeah.
I mean,
See, now
how,
watch. I'll bounce this. I'll bounce this green one off the big one. It doesn't do much.
how many balls do you play before?
I don't know.
You just
They're going down here. There's something. There's
I
some
see.
rule. I don't know
see.
what the rule is.
Yeah. Oh, okay. You go till the specs are gone. So you're
Yeah.
almost done.
The specs are going away. Oh, see, one came back now. Okay. Boom.
Oh. I'm confused.
You know. Okay. Look.
I'm sorry.
It's a fun game. Take it from me. It's a two-person game. The next time you're at your little hipster bar,
Yes.
Café Biron, go.
It's Hotel Biron,
Okay, whatever.
but it's not a hotel.
You can play against another hipster for coffees or something like that.
I actually go to Biron with my iPad all the time, and
See what
I
I'm
sit
saying?
there alone and drink my wine, and
That's
everyone
sad.
feels sorry for me.
That's sad,
because
so-
they think that I have no friends.
See, 4-3, yellow one.
Oh, well.
And now I
how
can tweet it.
wonderful. Oh, look, and there's a bunch of happy faces.
I can tweet.
Don't tweet that. People will think it's spam.
It is spam.
Well, it is kind
It
of.
is spam.
Why do some... You see this with games a lot where it's like, tweet your high score. It's like, no one gets anything out of that. Don't
that's
do
annoying. Don't do it.
that. But they have to add that option because then they feel like they're being social
We're
networky.
social, man.
Yeah, we're social.
Hey, and that's how they get venture capital.
I guess
yeah,
so.
it's a social app with HTML5 and CSS, and that's guaranteed venture capital. So you know what? As simple as this is, and it really, it's bocce ball. It's kind of compelling.
It's
believe it or not.
fun.
Yeah, and it would be a fun two-person game where you'd like to, you could reach over and strangle the other guy. 'Cause
It's also something where, okay, so you made a joke about a bar, but it's like, let's say you're sitting with a friend and the two of you are
Great.
having a conversation
Great.
over
Yeah.
beers or whatever,
Yep.
and you've got this down on the desk and you're almost like just half paying attention. It's like this game that you're playing as you're having a
Now
conversation
here's an
about
interesting
something
thing.
else.
This would work on a Chromebook. It works with Chrome, so it doesn't have to be an iOS device. Of course, it works on an iPhone, Safari or Chrome. And because it's a web page, I know it looks like an app. It works pretty well on both. And I think this is just the beginning of quite a few interesting apps based on HTML5.
I don't think that our apps need to be limited to the App Store.
Exactly.
If it's an app
fact, I like
and it
that
can be
idea.
treated like an app,
Yeah.
if it walks like an app, then it is an app.
That's right.
And we will not discriminate against you, HTML5.
That's right, Skipper. Oh, no, you're Marianne. You're all Marianne. You want to be Ginger, don't you?
I never watched the show. Is
You're
Ginger?
you're too young. I'm so depressed.
It's not that I'm too young. I wasn't allowed to. It was on when I was a
Your
kid.
parents had good taste.
Well,
All right, little buddy. I think that wraps it up.
I think so. We're sort of like we're shooting this a little ahead of time for anyone who's watching live. Is like, why are you guys shooting the iPad today so early? We had to flip with Windows Weekly this week. I think we're both sort of like, we're not as awake as we usually are when we
I
do
was
the
awake
show
at
on
the beginning of the
Thursdays.
show, but then the coffee wore off and I'm exhausted.
Yeah, you were a nut job.
Right at the beginning.
Kind of.
This is a good show to watch the arc of a person who's had too much coffee coming down.
Right. Leo's in the gulch, and there may be tears. That's it for this episode of iPad Today. Thank you so much for watching. Continue to send us feedback on what you like and don't like about, of course, our still very new set and apps and content, and call us and send us videos, and just don't come knocking at my front door.
Thank you, Lovey.
That's all I'd ask.
And now we're going to say goodnight for iPad Today.
Oh!